Hello, my beautiful mathematics learners. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I want to introduce us to the topic of simultaneous equations. Having done what is called linear equations, the next progression is simultaneous equations. In everything, we are given variables and we are asked to look for the value of those variables. If you see these two equations I have here, each of them is a simple linear equations. But in this case, we have two equations. That's why they are called simultaneous equations. Simultaneous means two things that happen at the same time. So, like I always say, in real life, simple equations may not be enough to describe everything that happens around us. So you have what is called simultaneous equation. So this is a very good example of a simultaneous equation. Two equations in one. And the two equations are linear equations. When we say linear equations, meaning that none of the variables is carrying a power that is higher than 1. I leave that for the mathematicians to clarify. As I said, I am not a mathematician. I just love mathematics and I use mathematics to solve problems in my own field. So let's go ahead to solve this simple simultaneous equation. So to solve this simultaneous equation, I am going to start by naming the equations, and because the naming will help you to keep track. I have named this first equation to be equation 1, while this second equation, I simply named it to be equation 2. So if I write 1 inside the circle, just know I am referring to equation 1 anywhere. And I write 2 inside the circle, just know I am referring to this equation 2. So since I have two variables and I am looking for the value of the two variables that satisfies these two equations, the first thing I want to do is to eliminate one of the variables. I am going to eliminate one of the variables. So to do that, I look at my equations. There's a method I'm going to use that is called elimination method, so to say. There are different methods in solving simultaneous equations. The more examples we solve, the more you will see these methods. But I am going to try to eliminate one of the variables. And looking at these two equations, which is the variable I want to eliminate? These two equations, they have shown me something. And what they have shown me is this: that if I add equation 1 and equation 2, since y here is carrying a positive sign, this is 1y and this is 1y, the y in equation 1 is carrying a positive sign, while the y in equation 2 is carrying a negative sign. If I just add this and this, that is plus 1y minus 1y, then that variable goes away. So that is the first thing that I am going to do. I am going to add equation 1 plus equation 2. So I have told myself that the first thing I'm going to do is to add equation 1 plus equation 2. And what was equation 1? Equation 1 was 2x plus y, which gave me 4. And equation 2 was 4x minus y, which gave me 8 rather. So if I add equation 1 plus equation 2, what would that give to me? So 2x plus 4x, that gives me 6x. Plus y and minus y will go away. Did you notice that? Yes. 1 minus 1 is 0. 1y minus 1 minus 1y is also 0. So that is the goal. That's the reason why I am performing this operation. And 4 plus 8 will give me 12. So I now have a new simple equation, 6x equals 12. The next operation I want to perform is we now have a coefficient attached to x. So what do? We are going to remove that coefficient that is attached to x, and I will say divide through by the coefficient of x. I'm trying to make it very simple for everyone to be able to follow. So if we divide through by the coefficient of x, what will that give to us? So we now have 6x over 6, which equals whatever you do to one side of an equation, you must do to the other side of the equation. So 6x over 6 is equals 12 over 6. And at this junction, this 6 here cancels 6. And on this side, I can divide through by 6, as you can see. So here I will divide by 6, and here I will divide by 6. So having done this on the left-hand side of the equation, what I have left is x. And on the right-hand side of the equation, 12 divided by 6 equals what? 2. That's simple enough. When you divide 12, when 6 people divide 12 things, you have 2. So you just cancel out and you get 2. All right, so I have gotten the value of one of the variables. Now to get the value of the second variable, I will now go back to the original equations and substitute x equals 2 in one of the original equations. So that's the next operation I want to perform. All right, substitute x equals 2 into one of the original equations. These are the original equations. I am going to choose equation 2. I don't know why. You can choose any of the equations, but I am going to choose equation 2, which was our original equation was 4x minus y equals 8. Now in this equation, I will just manipulate this equation. 4x, when 8 crosses over to the other side, it becomes a negative 8. And when y crosses over to the other side, it becomes positive. And we are asked to substitute x equals 2. So 4 times 2 minus 8, the question equals y. And what is 4 times 2? 4 times 2 is 8 minus 8 equals y. So this is 0 equals y. Remember, we got our values to be x equals 2. Now we have gotten y to be equals 0. So the question is, these two values, do they satisfy the original equation? That we are going to test now. Let's go back to where we are coming from. This is where we are coming from. These were the original equations that were given to us. And we went ahead to name this equation 1 and this to be equation 2. Now from our solving, we have gotten the values of x to be equals 2 and y to be equals 0. And we are asking ourselves, these two values that we have got, do they satisfy the original equations? That's what we want to test out now. Please watch. So I have repeated the two original equations here, as you can see. Now I want to start testing. So let's substitute into equation 1. So we are saying that 2x plus y equals 4. So wherever I see x, I put 2, and wherever I see y, I put 0. So 2 times 2 plus y. I want to check if that gives me 4. We're asking ourselves a question. 2 times 2 plus 0, does that give me 4? Of course, 2 times 2 is 4 plus 0, and that equals 4. 4 plus 0 equals 4. Hooray! I have gotten my first results. But remember, these are simultaneous equations. These are simultaneous equations. This set of answers that we got must satisfy the two equations. That is why they are called simultaneous equations. So since we have tested with equation 1, we now go ahead to test with equation 2 and see if we will also get the same answer. All right, our second equation says 4x minus y equals 8. Now we want to do the same thing that we did here. We want to substitute x equals 2 and y equals 0 to see if we will get 8. So wherever we see x, we put 2. So 4 times 2 minus wherever we see y, we put 0. And then we are asking ourselves the equation that 4x minus y, or 4 times 2 minus 0, does that give us 8? So let's go ahead. What is 4 times 2? 4 times 2 is 8 minus 0, and hooray, that actually gives us 8. 8 equals 8. So the equations, the two equations are satisfied by these values that we got, because 8 equals 8. The meaning of the equality sign is like a scale. You mean when you are weighing something on a scale, none of them should weigh more than the other. So both sides of the equations balance each other out. Now these two values satisfy the two equations. I hope we got the concept very clear. This was where we started from. We looked at the two equations and we said the first thing is to eliminate one of the variables. And looking at the two equations, we saw that if we add these two equations, that will eliminate one of the variables, which is y. And we did just that. After eliminating y, we added equation 1 to equation 2 to eliminate one of the variables, which is y. And we just did our simple equation stuff. And then, having gotten the value of x from that elimination, we now substituted x equals 2 into one of the equations, and then we got our value of y. So this is the idea of a simultaneous equation. We're going to work more examples in the following video. Please, if you like this content, kindly share, comment, like, and please invite others to follow this page for more. Our goal here is to make mathematics, to make learning generally as simple as possible, to make it interesting. We learn while having fun on this page. Thank you. Bye for now. I will see you in the next video.